Senate, and I want to thank the governor for coming here to Hartford today to discuss the current situation we have in our transportation issue. As you know, we have had, unfortunately, 4 fatalities to date, and we had another serious accident on Route 4 yesterday. And after speaking to the governor, myself and Representative Clarkson has also been in touch with him. We've asked him to come here to take a look at exactly what it is that we're facing and all of the folks that are traveling Route 4 are facing at the current time. So, Governor, again, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate the lives of our citizens are seriously at stake here, and we appreciate you being and taking such a great concern about this. Do you want me to introduce everybody first? We got Sue Minter from V-Trans, and she's Deputy Commissioner, and we have Representative Allison Clarkson, Phil Swanson from the Town Manager from Woodstock, and Ken Parker from our Select Board here in Hartford, Town Manager Hunter Reesberg, and we have Chief Steve Locke and Deputy Chief Lenny Roberts. So thank you all for having us here and hosting this event today. So, go.
Thank you, John. And I want to thank Senator Campbell and Representative Clarkson. John called me the minute that we had yesterday's accident and said, you know, enough is enough. We've got to take action. I know Representative Clarkson's been actively involved. I want to thank all of you folks who are working so hard locally to figure out this challenge. And special thanks to law enforcement, to fire and rescue, EMT, who have been called to the front lines time and time again here on this challenge. My heart goes out to you. Hartford Public Safety Director Steve Locke, as you know, is here. I know Deputy Chief Brad Bale's been working hard on this. So do all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Listen, I just want to start by saying that my heart goes out to the 4 victims of the crashes on Route 4, and we're hoping that we don't have a fifth. As you know, she's in critical condition. We are all, our hearts and prayers are with her and her family, and obviously my heart goes out to all the families that have been so impacted by this unbelievable barrage of accident and tragedy on Route 4 between the highway and Woodstock that continues to plague us. I have with me my Deputy Secretary, Sue Minter, and I'm going to put her on in just a second. But Sue and myself and working together with the legislature intend to do the following 3 steps that we think are logical. The first is using state-only dollars, because we can expend them more quickly than federal dollars. And thanks to the legislature for re-upping our leveling transportation dollars. As Deputy Secretary Minter will tell you, that was very important. But using leveling and rumble strips. We're going to be out to bid next week and up and working, we hope, very soon to level. That's a form of repaving in areas, and putting in rumble strips, which simply means if you hit the middle line, you get that terrible rumbling sound that hopefully draws your attention to the fact that you're traveling over the center line. That's step 1. Step 2, that's short term. Step 2, we're proposing to, in light of the pro-styrene projects that we already have going, we propose with some state-only dollars to repave existing areas that are in really tough shape, but then over the next 3 to 5 years, use federal dollars to repave the entire stretch of road. And that's got to be done quickly. And third and long term, this is a 10-year project, we recognize the need for a long-term solution. As you know, that road bed was built on an old concrete form of construction that we don't use anymore. So really the long-term project has to include removing the concrete slabs, ensuring that we widen the road where it is logical, and as you know, the narrowness of Route 4 is a real challenge, as well as doing realignment at the same time. That includes right-of-ways. It takes some time, but really that is the long-term solution to making Route 4 more safe. And we need to do that from here to Rupp. So that's the challenge that lies ahead. We all know that Route 4 is the main east-west corridor. It gets a huge amount of traffic. When you come off the exit here, we sometimes take up to 8,000 vehicles a day. And I think my message to Vermonters is, listen, this is tragic. We've had enough tragedy. We're going to get to work as quickly as we can on improving the road through leveling, through rumble strips. We're asking you to drive slowly, to be cautious, do not text, do not drive when you're distracted. We cannot afford another fatality and another tragedy. So I want to turn it over now to Shumlin and take it away.
Okay, well, I really appreciate your coming down as well, and to everyone to know that Route 4 is definitely on our radar at the Agency of Transportation. As the Governor mentioned, we have short, medium, and long-term approaches that we're taking. We've really been in communication and trying to be very available. We are going out to bid next week with the leveling project. We anticipate being active to continue the work that was done last summer all the way through to the interstate on Route 4. You should expect a good pavement in July. And this is relatively new that we are adding rumble stripes. The center line, well, let me explain. The center line is called a stripe because it goes over a stripe. But when it's on the sides, as you see in the interstate, it's a strip.
Got it.
So these are going to be rumble stripes. And it is actually a change in direction for this agency. We have been evaluating what's going on nationally. You're going to see more of this treatment across the country, which has now been proven to really affect and reduce centerline crossovers and those kinds of accidents that actually we have seen here on Route 4. We have issued really some important engineering guidance around these treatments because they aren't appropriate everywhere. We've learned that they aren't appropriate necessarily in slow speed areas and particularly dense areas. They are loud, and we have gotten some feedback in some other areas. We have been implementing them over the last 2 years. We've got a big stretch going into place on Route 2 in the islands this summer. You will be seeing more of this. And for those of you who don't like them, we need you to be aware that they are there for your safety. But in the medium term, 3 to 5 years out, we are looking at a federally funded program that will really be much more significant and put the whole piece together. In that stretch of road, though, we can't look at going beyond our right-of-way, and that's why we have to look also at a long-term solution, really getting at those concrete slabs, re-engineering the whole corridor, and looking at a corridor-wide approach. We certainly learned in Irene that this is a vulnerable road. There are many slope failures right now that are going to be getting treated. It's vulnerable because it's so close to the Ottaquechee, so when we think long-term, we want to think about resilience. But that takes a lot of permitting and time and design. But I also, these are the engineering solutions that really are in the purview of transportation. But we know that it is more than an engineering problem. It is what we call about the 4 E's. There's engineering, there's emergency response, and thank you for the great work you do. And there is enforcement. We know that we are increasing enforcement locally, but also education. And that's what you will see today, some new signs per the request of the Senator and the Governor. We've got some additional, what we call variable message signs out there, trying to give us the important message to all drivers that it is a partnership between those who engineer the roads and try to keep the conditions at their best and those who are driving on them. So we ask you to please slow down, pay attention, focus on safety. Because I want you to know that when we have a crash, and especially a fatal crash, our engineers take this personally. And just to close by also supporting the Governor's message of our heartfelt thoughts are with those families of people who have suffered tragedies or casualties on this route and many others. We've actually had 21 fatalities just this year. We want to get to 0 deaths, but we really have to do it all together. It's a joint responsibility, and that's why another action that we are taking is to reach out to the communities on this corridor who are clearly very affected by these significant crashes. We're having a forum. It's a public safety forum, and it's on the week, we think it will be the 17th of June, but at least that week. And we're working with these folks here to develop it. But it's about our engineers, we're bringing folks from the hospital, we're bringing high school leaders, student leaders together. It's about education. The private sector is involved. The Public Safety Commissioner is there, the Governor's Highway Safety Commission, the Department of Motor Vehicles. It is a partnership. And that's the way we make a difference in bringing it down to zero deaths. 200,000 deaths nationwide on our highways every year, and they're all preventable if we work together. So that's my message today, and I'm really glad you're here, Governor, because this is a super high priority for our agency and for this alliance of others that we're working so closely with. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary. If you have questions, we're happy to try and take.
Be getting on the road, so just one or two.
Fire it up if you got them.
More specificity on where the rumble stripes and
Stripes and strips
occur in the next few weeks? What sections?
You know,
Well, we have a 3-mile strip, and we are right now designing, it's based on speed and density of population, so I don't have the designs right here, but we'll get those as soon as we know them.
One of the big messages also is that, again, we were talking about driver inattentiveness. Right now, more and more folks are dealing with cell phones, with the radios, with you name it. And it's been proven that by using cell phones and texting, it's almost like driving drunk. So I don't care how good of a driver you are, if you're using that text or your phone, that you are going to be able, you're not going to be in full control of your vehicle. And it's extremely important to know that it's not just your life that you're putting at risk. It's the lives of all the other citizens, men, women, and children who drive these roads. So I think that's a huge message that needs to get out, and people have to take some responsibility.
Is there a projected price tag for the whole 3-step plan?
What I can tell you is that our leveling program, which is state-only dollars, it's about $100,000 a mile. That's the immediate phase. The intermediate phase, which is using federal dollars, is between $400,000 and $500,000 a mile. The long-term phase, with what we face here, we project between $4 and $5 million a mile. So it's a lot of investment, which is why we thank Vermonters for their investment in our transportation system every day.
Governor, certainly have a lot of sort of 2-lane curvy roads around this state. Why particularly emphasis now on this? I mean, obviously we've had these incidents, but this goes long term. Is there something especially different about 4?
we're focusing on Route 4 because there's just too many people dying out there, and we can't let it continue. And when you have a challenge of this nature, it's our job to try to figure out solutions and come up with a more sensible path. I mean, we know that Route 4 and Route 9 are the main east-west corridors. They're dangerous. We've done everything we can in the last several years to try and make some improvements. We've got more work to do. But, you know, my message is a simple one. When we're losing 4 people, innocent victims on one short stretch of road, and perhaps a 5th, we're obviously praying for her, but she's clinging on to life right now. We got a big challenge. And we got to use all the resources, all the creativity, work together with the local folks who have the best judgment about how to proceed, and come up with solutions.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks again.